Long winter here in the heart of New England, and the Arute family is about ready to kick off the festivities for the SK Modified, Stafford's own open wheel modified division. Two of the toughest competitors in the field will be making up row number one. Willie Hardy with car number 7, Ted Christopher alongside. Now, Matt, this is a whole different setup than we've seen in the past. Usually the fast cars start in the rear here at Stafford, but because of extreme weather conditions on this Spring Sizzler weekend, they were forced to take a combination of the times during the test sessions in order to determine the starting lineup.
And Ted Christopher was very fast in practice, along with a man alongside him, Willie Hardy in car number 7.
Row number 2, just as impressive, Jeff Burrill and Frank Rocco. They head off turn number 4. The fans are ready. They're waving. We're going racing here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Down into turn number 1. They zigzag down to the bottom of the racetrack, but it's Hardy in command. Battle already for the runner-up spot down the back straightaway. Here comes Savali. Trouble to the inside.
And it didn't take long. Dave Salzarullo in car number 53 and 78, the rookie driver, Keith Rocco, in trouble at the rear of the field.
Caution flag comes out of the field with only one lap showing. We're back under yellow in this SK Modified event. The distance is 40 laps. Willie Hardy has been the dominant car in the first circuit, but already the complexion of this event is starting to be shown. Car number 7, Willie Hardy, started his racing career here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. In the Pro Stock division, ran there, had success, championships there, moved to the open wheel modifieds, and his career in the SK Modifieds has been an up and down one. He's had tremendous highs and tremendous lows.
And last season he struggled until the fall final when he got his first victory in about 3 years. I think what was interesting about that fall start that we just saw that did not count, Ted Christopher on the outside kind of lost ground to Willie Hardy, an indication that the outside groove, because of all the rain, might not be the fast way around, at least early in the race until more rubber is built up on the outside.
Teddy Christopher, the man that sets to the outside of the front row on this complete restart, he is the defending series winner. In 20 starts in 2004, he had 8 wins to his credit, 13 top 5s and 19 top 10 finishes. Today, he's looking to start that season off with win number 1 in a season that, if you know Ted Christopher, you know he's only here to do one thing, and that is to win races.
And right behind him, Jeff Burrell in car number 18, Ben. That is a brand new race car that they built over the winter. A little different than what Jeff Burrell is used to driving. A change in the suspension, which should make it easier to turn. So I think the 18 car is going to be a big factor this afternoon.
Jeff Burrill finished 7th in the point standings a year ago, had 2 wins to his credit in 21 starts in the competition here. Let's take a look at James Savali. This kid is already on a win streak so far this season. He's already visited victory lane on 2 different occasions, so that is the yellow and red number 29, starting back in the 5th spot. Savali sets his sights on running in the Busch North Circuit, as well as campaigning in as many events as possible here at Stafford in the open wheel modified. He too is a graduate from the quarter midget division and the Legends car division, and he had success wherever he's raced.
And we also found out today that they're thinking of buying a Whelen modified car, so we could see a lot of James Savali in 2005.
Field is set, looking for the initial start. Remember, they brought the field back again. No laps into the record books. Willie Hardy to the inside of your screen. To the outside is Ted Christopher. Christopher to the advantage on the top end. Down into turn number 1. Look a little further back in that front pack of cars. You'll see James Savali working his way to the front. Savali is boxed in. There's the blue car number 18, and that is Burrill, setting in the 3rd spot. A gaggle of cars will follow.
And the black car, Agor, right behind the 29. Ted Christopher out to the early lead. I guess it took him less than a lap to figure out the outside groove.
Car number 99 goes spinning through the infield. That is Kurt Zervis' machine. We're still green and racing. Down the back straightaway, Rocco has moved into the 5th spot with a blue number 97. Keep your eyes on the number 47 car. White and neon numeral car that has now worked its way to contend among the top 6 cars. Challenge for the lead.
Willie Hardy trying to make a bid on the bottom against Christopher. and the 13 car is able to easily hold him off.
Christopher guards the inside lane. Hardy pulls back in the line. There's the white car behind the blue car of Rocco, the 91. Then it's the white 47. That is Donnie Liam making his Stafford SK debut. Off the turn, Hardy tries it again. Neon and black, number 7. Can't do it this time, Matt. Look at Savali testing the waters. The red and yellow 29.
And right behind him, Frank Rocco in the blue 97 car, rounding out the top 5. Savali, for someone as young as he really is a patient driver, as Hardy is going to test Christopher again.
Christopher knows he's there, but Hardy pulls it back into formation. This is the old cat and mouse game at a maximum test as they come off the turn. That time, Christopher slipped up just a bit, Matt.
Hardy getting him a little loose coming off turn 4, but Christopher able to control. And there's Jeff Burrell wrecked in the turn 1 guardrail.
Jeff Burrell, who is running among the top 3 cars. Heavy damage done to the front of car number 18. So the caution comes out with 5 laps into the record books. The ECI, Uncle Al's famous hot dogs machine, car number 18, has hit at a ton down in turn number 1. There was also another car that spun, and that was the 6 car of Chris Sacella. Burrell is about ready to get out of his race car. You can see the disappointment there, Matt. He is not pleased at all.
Brand new race car. Or now you can put that in a past tense. It was a brand new race car until it hit the guardrail.
Jeff Burrell had a very, very fast race car in 2004 here at the Speedway. We mentioned before that he has shared his problems with a lot of hardships, no fault of his own. We've just received information from NASCAR. The NASCAR Dodge Weekly Racing Series officials have decided to penalize the number 29 car for James Savali. Savali, who is running behind Burrell, will be put to the rear of the field. So controversy strikes in race number 1.
Yeah, the bad news is Savali is going to go to the rear of the field. The good news for him, however, the silver lining in the dark cloud, we're only 5 laps into the 40-lap race. So Savali has plenty of time to maneuver his way up toward the front.
Let's talk a little bit about the white number 47 car, the Wiss Tablets machine that is currently driven by Donnie Leah. Already in time trials today. Who is the shining star in the Whelen Modified Tour? Donnie Leah. But for 2005, Leah takes over a ride that last year Chuck Hosfeld was competing with at the start of the season.
And then in the middle of the season, that Steve Shawanski took over that ride and got 2 victories with it. So it's a very good race car, a very good team. The only thing, until 2 weeks ago, Donnie Leah has never stepped in an SK modified before. So there's going to be a little bit of adjustment time for Leah to get comfortable. And he looks pretty comfortable now. Maybe that adjustment time was only about 5 laps.
You know, they talk about the transition, and that transition is that the SK Modified drivers are very good at time trialing for the Whelen Modified Tour Series events when they make that transition to move forward. In reality, and nobody really ever discussed about a Whelen Modified Tour veteran coming back to the SKs and how strong they will be, bringing some of those tactics back to them to the short track series.
Yeah, what do you think is easier to make? A guy like Eric Burt going from the SKs to the Modifieds, or a guy like Donnie Leah going from the Whelen Modifieds to the SKs? What's the easier transition?
You know, that's a tough decision to call. However, Donnie Leah has matured himself as a driver. It takes a long time to be totally accepted in the Whelen Modified Tour Series that was previously known as the Featherlight Modified Series. But guess what? He is accepted there. He feels comfortable there. Now, does that give him the confidence at this level? He's considered one of the top guns of the upper series. So does that make it easier or harder? We'll have to talk to the driver of car number 47 and find out the answers to that and much, much more.
Hey, the guy who's made it look easy for the first 5 laps is Ted Christopher, taking off where he left a year ago, where he won the Stafford Championship, came very close to winning the New England Regional Championship. Kurt Brainerd, that car is in the middle of the infield on pit road, along with the 29 Savali car will go to the rear after a penalty was assessed.
Well, James Savali's car, his father is the crew chief on that race car. He made a wedge adjustment. Now, it's a whole different ballgame for James Savali now. The old thing, he's in the penalty box. He's been there, put to the rear of the field. Can he come to the front of the class? Well, James Savali has proven in the past that he's been able to accomplish some of those things, but it is all a case of being patient. How did James Savali get put into the penalty box? He wasn't patient, was he?
No, and it was early in the race, only 5 laps in, when the incident developed between himself and Jeff Burrell in the number 18 car. And because at Stafford, in our weekly SK Modified division, laps under the yellow flag do not count, Savali will have the full 35 laps to redeem himself.
He sure will. Look a little further back, just out of the top 6. You'll see the number 81 car, Woody Pitcat out of Stafford Springs, Connecticut. He had some great runs with that race car a year ago. Did not visit victory lane then, but I think you're going to find him in the winner's circle very, very early this season. Also, Jeff Malave, the number 3 car, Eric Berndt, the 54 car, Mike Holdridge, a very strong independent runner. We're back to go racing here with 5 laps up on the Dodge Weekly Racing Series scoreboard. Off turn number 4, picture perfect start. Matt, it is Christopher to the advantage on the inside. Look at Willie Hardy. Right there with him is Rocco. They touch.
Yeah, Rocco, a little twitch, and there's the 47 Aaliyah spinning around. Cello caught up in the incident. So the 47 Aaliyah that we just talked about gets his baptism to SK Modified Racing at Stafford.
A left rear tire is down on the Whiz Tablets machine for Donnie Leah. So the caution flag comes out on the field. We're in a holding pattern on lap number 5.
3 cautions, and we've only run 5 laps. Lloyd Agor headed back onto pit row in car number 22.
So with 5 of the 40 laps now complete, the complexion has changed at the bottom of the top 5. Pretty much for positions 1 and 2, they have been contending but very cautious. Lloyd Agor is down on pit road, and there is Donnie Leah with the number 47 car. Left flat rear tire is the story on that car. And they are working to change that left rear as we speak. He'll be back there with pretty good company. James Savali will also be back there.
Yeah, this is a type of racing that Donnie Leah is not used to lately. Normally in a 200 lap modified race, he can take his time and pace himself, but now he is really going to have to be fired up for the remaining 35 laps of this one. And they change the tire, and he heads back out onto the Speedway. You know, Mike Holdridge currently is up in the upper echelon of this field as we go down to pit road.
Mark, come back. Well, guys, down here on pit road right now, the crew looking over Lloyd Agor's car, number 22, working primarily on the right front of the 22 machine. He kind of got pushed into Donnie Leah. Leah was just in just a left rear flat tire. Crew went over the wall, made the quick change, but probably bigger trouble for Woody Pitcat in the 81 car as the tie rod has come loose of the right front. The crew scrambling over the wall into the pit box, trying to get that car back together, but Woody up in the jack. He looks despondent in the race car, as that's the happenings right now as we are still early in the 40-lap SK feature event.
You know, Ben, one driver in 4th place right now, Chris Acella, in the red 6 car. He has said that the Spring Sizzler has always been his nemesis. He has never raced well in this race. He's had tough luck here, but right now he's looking pretty good in 4th place alongside Frank Rocco.
Woody Pitcat's number 81 car is down on pit road. They're working on the right front suspension of that race car. Ted Christopher, he's done this so many times before. Willie Hardy is a crafty veteran on the outside, and for only 5 laps in the record books, Matt, Willie Hardy really was testing the waters. Teddy Christopher doesn't like to play in the water. He likes to just dive into the sport off the diving board. Let's see what's going to happen as they dive to the line with Ted Christopher in command.
Well, he did a Greg Louganis right there as he just left Hardy out to dry. And there goes Hardy on the inside to take over the lead.
And the fans love it. They're jumping up and down in their seats. 5 laps into the record books. Lap number 6 when they come to the line. Willie Hardy, short-lived at the point. Here comes TC, Ted Christopher. Hardy bounces off the wall.
And cars get caught in behind him.
A melee down the front straightaway.
The 8 of Doug Colby just missing the 7 of Willie Hardy.
Donnie Leah, James Savali all squeak by, but the car that has suffered the most damage is Willie Hardy's. Number 7 went to the lead on the restart. Got really bold and aggressive in the outside. Came off the turn. Scuffed the wall with the right side rubber. Came back across the racetrack. And the fans are not pleased with Ted Christopher. They're letting him be well aware of the fact that they think he might have had something to do it. It looked completely different from our viewpoint on our screen here at Television Central.
But the one thing we do know, Willie Hardy went up against the wall. We did not see contact on our screen.
Heartbreaker, though, for other competitors, including car number 9 for Brad Heitella out of Ellington, Connecticut. Brad is a veteran that builds his own race cars, and he was very confident going into this event about that race car. There's the Willie Hardy machine. It is literally hit on all sides. Right front wheel, right rear, and left rear. Hardy is getting out of the race car.
Now, the damage on the left rear was not suffered when he hit the wall. It's when he came back out of the track and another car with no place to go ran into the rear of him.
So Willie Hardy looks to come back onto the racing surface itself as car number 7 being hitched up by the wrecker. Another car that was involved further in the infield area was the 73 of Glenn Griswold. And Willie Hardy is heading back to his pit location.
Also, Dave Salzarullo, the 53 car, involved in that incident, tangling up with Brad Heitella.
So Hardy making it known to Teddy Christopher that he is not too pleased by what occurred on the racetrack itself.
You know, Willie Hardy has won in the past on Spring Sizzler Sunday, but today just the flip side is true, as he lasted for 5 laps until he got into the front stretch wall.
Well, Brad Heitella taking that long, dejected walk back to his pit stall with car number 9. So he was just a victim of circumstances, Matt. He had absolutely nowhere to go. At one point, from our vantage point here, it appeared that the front straightaway was literally completely closed and blocked up. Here, let's take another look at it, looking at the Diamond Vision screen. Off the turn. Well, you decide in that one.
And there's Brad Heitella, no place to go, going into the back of the Willie Hardy car.
And there's the end results. Willie Hardy's race car setting severely damage to the inside of the racetrack. As the Sazarillo machine also being hitched up on the wrecker, being brought back to the center of the infield. That 53 team, they have campaigned race cars right over the Stafford Springs, Connecticut line. The Johnson family have built a lot of race cars over the year, Matt, and Dave Sazarillo is a good fabricator himself that has put an awful lot of time into building the race cars. There is the number 73 of Glenn Griswold. And now you see the damage done, mostly rear suspension damage to the number 7 car of Willie Hardy. That is not the way he wanted to start this season. I'll tell you that right now.
He has one of the best crews in the paddock. However, they're going to have to go to work a little earlier in the season than they had anticipated.
So the Hardy machine is being brought back to pit road, the 53 of Sazarillo being assisted as we speak, and Brad Heitella's car. 2 wreckers hitching up on that. And as we said, he just had no place to go at all. Heartbreaking situation for him. Family guy, him and his wife Linda, not only do they build their own race cars, but as we both know, they are involved in an effort with Todd Owen that has been very, very successful. And they own a little speed shop and fabrication welding shop. They help a lot of the teams in this division out. We want to point that out.
Well, Brad spent most of the winter this year helping Todd Owen get that car, building that car for Todd. He said that he might slow it down in 2005 and not race every single week. And those plans, however, have just taken a turn for the worse.
It sure has. We've just received some information. Originally, it was Dave Sazarillo that was scheduled to be driving the 53 car. During the last minute, Billy Bolton took over the ride. There's Billy Bolton on the Diamond Vision screen as we speak, heading back to the center of the infield. Bolton runs a limited schedule of driving the race car. He is heavily involved in the world of hockey and is involved with several youth teams and so forth there. So not a good way for him to start.
Yeah, if he was involved in the NHL, he would have a lot of spare time on his hands this year. Billy Bolton, I guess he's going to drive the car on a regular basis at the Stafford Speedway, and Dave Sazzarulo will drive that car at Thompson. So that's how they're going to split up the driving duties this year on the 53 team.
So work still continues on the front straightaway area here. In this, the CarQuest TechNet SK Modified feature event. 40 laps the distance, and we are under yellow, kind of in a holding pattern on lap number 5.
The season off to a ragged start here in the SK Modifieds. Chris Osella now, after that accident that took out Willie Hardy, is now moved up to 3rd. Jeff Malave in the 3 car is 4th. He said the big change on that car, the driver is better.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that's what I think too, man. I don't think it was Jenny's. about ready to go back to green with 5 of the 40 laps now completed into the record books. Ted Christopher gets a new dancing partner on the outside. It'll be the Rocco machine, car number 97 for Frank Rocco. Rocco, of course, out of Cheshire, Connecticut, side by side and ready to go back to green.
Now, Willie Hardy had trouble keeping up with Christopher on those outside restarts until the last one, when he seemed to have it figured it out. Let's see what Frank Rocco does.
To the inside, Chris Asano, row number 2, and then it is Jeff Malave also coming to the front as the cream rises to the top. Down into turn number 1, trouble. Rocco goes in at a ton.
Acela involved, Malave.
Todd Owen and the number 78 machine.
The rookie driver, Keith Rocco, also a part of that incident.
So lap number 5 is a tough lap to get over, as we now see the number 97 car. And Jeff Malave, I think Jeff Malave had no place to go in that altercation down in turn number 1. That's the Davidson Company's car. And now it appears that Frank Rocco is able to pull away. But for Jeff Malave, it doesn't appear that he is going to be able to do that. Severe damage done to the right side of the race car. Let's take another look at it. Down the front straightaway. Rocco starts to come down. Chris Acela is there. And just as we predicted, Jeff Malave had no place to go. He's wedged to the outside wall. Todd Owen, also a victim of circumstances. And Keith Rocco did his best to avoid all of this. So just another one of those difficult racing calls.
Well, when the contact was made between the 6 car of Acela and the 97 of Rocco, the 2 cars drifted up right in the path of Jeff Malave. It was like somebody put barbed wire all over his groove, and he shot up into the outside barrier. So we have had a very difficult time completing the 5th lap of this race. It seems like starting on the outside of the front row could be very hazardous to your financial health, as Willie Hardy's gone. Frank Rocco in trouble. Chris Acela is on pit road. He had one of the greatest runs of his SK Modified career, but it only lasted, Ben, for 5 laps.
We should also point out that Mike Holdridge started this event in the 10th starting spot, and all of a sudden Holdridge finds himself in the catbird seat. So that's pretty good for the driver of car number 28 in 5 circuits, and the number 19 is also making its presence known as well among the top positions here. Kenny Horton started back at 15th.
And it didn't take long for the Cannonball to work his way to the front. Mike Holdridge, he did his homework over the winter by going to New Smyrna Beach to compete in the SK Modified Series there. It's the 14th time that he and his father have gone to New Smyrna Beach. Maybe he didn't have the greatest success there this year, but it did give him some seat time, and I think maybe that's why he's doing so well in the early going in this race.
And don't count out the driver of car number 54, Eric Burnt, out of Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Burnt also started back in the 13th starting position, and he is quietly coming to the front of the field as well in the Cause Auto Sales sponsored number 54. This is the year that Burnt, they feel very confident that they're going to do exceptionally well. You can see the Nerf bar to the left, or the rub rail as some might call it, to the left side of the race car was severely damaged as he was in that earlier altercation.
Eric Burnt said it's the same car as he finished the year with last year. It's just that this year he's going to make it last. And so far he's avoided all the trouble, or almost avoided it all, as you see a little damage on that 54 car. Nice new paint scheme on that 54 machine. Eric Burnt from Rocky Hill, Connecticut.
Well, a heartbreaker for Jeff Malave, the Davidson Food Group car. The TCI Harley-Davidson machine down on pit road is that car is on the back of the hook with heavy damage done to the right side. Chris Acela is down on pit road, the Langen Volkswagen number 6.
Well, and taking over 4th spot, as you mentioned earlier, Ben, Ken Horton. And it's unusual the way Cannonball's career got started. You know, a lot of drivers, they start at an early age in go-karts, quarter midgets. By the time they step in an SK Modified, they have a lot of experience. Ken Horton, he just bought an SK Modified, rented some track time, and that's how he started in this sport. He started at the top.
He sure did. Speaking of starting at the top, It is Ted Christopher alongside is Mike Holdridge. Let's see what's going to happen as we're about ready to go back to green. Off turn number 4, Sean Houlihan looks the field over from the starter stand. NASCAR Central about to make him aware if the start is good, and it is. Holdridge to the advantage, outside, down in turn 1. Holdridge drifts up the hill just a bit. Here comes Christopher back to command.
Boy, that was great anticipation of the start by Holdridge, but Christopher might have taken him about 3/4 of a lap, but he has his lead back. A little bump between himself and the Holdridge car.
Burt gets bumped around a bit with the 54 car, and back to contend towards the front of the field. Here comes the Cannonball. Running to the outside. They're almost 3 wide there, Matt, as Todd Owen sets in the 4th spot.
Cannonball can't get any bite on the outside, so Todd Owen takes over the spot in car number 90, and Savali, who started dead last, remember, on lap 5, and 2 laps has worked his way into contention.
James Savali is a young kid with a mission. He's coming back to the field, to the front of this field with a vengeance, setting back in position number 5. He'll now move to the inside of Eric Byrne, give position number 4 to the red and yellow number 29. It is Savali to pick up yet another spot.
The name of the game so far, Ben, is to keep your car as close to the white line as possible. If you drift up high, you could get passed by, and that's what happened to Eric Byrne.
Meanwhile, Savali still sets back in the 4th spot. Todd Owens guards the inside lane, tries to get a wheel down underneath Holdridge for a second. Can't do it this time, down to the bottom of turn 1.
Todd Owen, one of the more patient drivers in the SK Modified division, but he is sandwiched by a couple good competitors. Mike Holdridge is in the 28 in front of him, and now Savali trying to go around him.
Savali running on rails, goes to the outside. He'll challenge in position number 3. Now he looks his way to the outside. It is James Savali trying to take over position number 2. 4 cars under a blanket off turn 2.
One of the few drivers that has been able to make his car look good on the outside, James Savali. He is starting to pester the 28 of Mike Holdridge.
And with him comes Donnie Leah. He's getting a lesson from the driver of car number 29 on how to get back to the front of this field. To the bottom and challenging, here comes Todd Owen. Leah being pressured by the 22 of Lloyd Agor. Back to the inside, here comes Owen. Savali to the outside, back to the line.
Well, it took a while for this race to get to full speed, but now Savali just had too much power for Todd Owen on the outside, moving into 3rd place.
The door opens, Savali looks to move to the bottom. Can't do it this time. Owen drops back to the 4th spot. Here comes Leah to the outside. White number 47, Christopher in command, lap number 14.
And a car slaps the wall, and then almost goes overboard.
It is Todd Owens, number 90, that literally gets up on 2 wheels down the front straightaway. As Owens' unbelievable run ends with misfortune on lap number 13. Kirk Zervis also involved with car number 99, but what a heartbreaker for Todd Owen. He was doing such a good job of running with that front pack of cars, but the scoreboard shows that Ted Christopher still is your leader under yellow, with the 28 of Mike Holdridge in 2nd, and James Savali setting in the 3rd spot with car number 29. Unofficially, we think it's Lloyd Agor in the 4th position and Donnie Leah in position number 5.
Todd Owen usually keeps his emotions in check, but a very frustrated driver. As you saw, 4 or 5 guys battle for position in the track, and Todd Owen, that car came very close to spinning over, and fortunately that did not happen. The car did not leave the ground, but Todd Owen, not a happy driver there. As you see, he hit the wall very hard and then climbed the wall momentarily.
Sure did. There was no question about it. They were all battling for position there. Owen found a spot that he was running. Let's take another look at it again here. Comes out of the turn, and literally, once he gets the right side rubber touches the wall,
I think the right side rubber bend was on top of the fence.
Yep, literally launched that car up on 2 wheels down the front straightaway here. And that's a heartbreaker. This kid's got a ton of talent. He's a hard-working young man that puts a lot of time in. Here's another look at it. Off the turn, it was a black car to the inside of him
The 22 of Lloyd Agor made contact with the 90 of Owen, which sent Owen into the ozone here at the Stafford Speedway. And what you're seeing now is something you didn't see in the early part of the 2004 season. Todd Owen's strength is that he finishes races and he makes that car go the distance. Not today.
Sure does. There was a time in 2004 that he was really surprised that he was leading the points, because he said, I never thought about running for the points. I just wanted consistent top 10 finishes. And that's how he got into the point lead during the 2004 season.
Let's go to Dean Mercier.
Hey, Tim, or anybody down there? Back to racing off turn number 4. Lap number 13 shows on the board. Car number 13 runs at the point. Battle is for second.
And let's see if Holdridge is hung out to dry on the outside, as Savali has leverage in car number 29. And right now he has second place.
Lloyd Agor runs to the inside with the neon green, yellow, and black number 22. Give position number 3 to car number 22. Right there with him and moving in is the number 27 of Roscoe John Sandberg, who's making his presence felt. He'll take over the 4th spot. Holdridge dropped back to the bottom of the top 5.
That 27 car of John Sandberg was terrible in practice on Friday. He said today he really didn't know what to expect out of that car, except it was going to be one of the fastest cars here. He is proving that to be true right now.
Donnie Leah is also coming back to the front. He goes to the outside of Kenny Horton with car number 19. But it's Savali who's knocking on the back bumper of Ted Christopher. Here comes the cannonball to the inside of Leah. Woody Pitcat is there. Leah's in trouble on the top side. Car number 47.
Leah wobbled to the outside, and he's going to lose about 3 positions on the racetrack.
But off the turn, it is still a battle for the lead. 16 laps into the record books in this 40-lap event. Ted Christopher holding off James Savali. Further back in the field, here comes Pitcat. Now it's Eric Byrne who's trying to make some magic. On the inside, that's the battle for the top 10.
And we have quite a rivalry shaping up at the front of the field. In the lead, Ted Christopher. In second, the man who many people think can be the next Ted Christopher, James Savali. And they've had quite a few memorable battles at the end of last year. So it's quite a heated rivalry right now taking place between Christopher and Savali. They make some contact.
Savali goes to the inside. Christopher tries to guard the lane. Comes right back down on the racetrack. Down the back straightaway. Who gets the advantage of this one? Lloyd Agor goes right there to contend in the outside lane. Savali fights him back off turn 4.
And Savali just has too much energy on the bottom of the track. Lloyd Agor was no match for it. Now he starts to fade. Sandberg gets a little out of shape as he tucks it in behind the 22 car.
They start to string it out at the point. It is still Christopher. When they come back to the line, halfway down and halfway to go. Ted Christopher's got a mirror full of Savali back to turn 1.
Yeah, if he looks in his mirror, he'll see an 8x10 glossy of young James W. Savali. And I think I know what the W stands for, Ben. Winner.
Well, it's still a long way from over with yet at this point. Sandberg has moved into the 4th spot with car number 27. Savali looks to go to the outside. Thinks twice of it, moves to the bottom. But Christopher slams the door. It is Christopher leading the pack of cars down the back straightaway. Savali now challenging again to the bottom.
There's still plenty of time for Savali. We're only finishing the 22nd lap And usually Savali likes to make his move on the last lap. That way, Christopher can't retaliate. So Savali knows he's got a lot of time left to work on the 13 car.
It is Lloyd Agor setting back in the 3rd spot, now currently with car number 22. 4th position, John Sandberg, and then the 5th spot is Mike Holdridge in the 28 car. Off the turn, Savali working him over, but Ted Christopher doesn't fold to pressure. Christopher still in command, tap to the bumper. Savali is there, but there just isn't good enough.
If you're going to try to intimidate someone, you're wasting your time if you're going to try to do it to Ted Christopher. Because right now, you know, he's got the ego. He is the best. He is the man to beat. And he is not going to be intimidated at all by James Savali.
Lloyd Agor is right there with these two, studying each and every move. The spotters have their hands on the buttons. They're telling their drivers exactly what they feel is going to be required to get the job done.
And Lloyd Agor in the 22, you see him to the left of your screen in 3rd position. He's done a good job just surviving this one because it took its toll on a lot of drivers early on. Open for Savali.
Slingshots to the bottom. Lloyd Agor takes over the lead. Savali is back on the gas. He maintains position number 2.
And Christopher goes all the way back to 4th.
The fans are jumping up and down in their seats here at Stafford. It is Lloyd Agor to the point. Savali back in 2nd, Sandberg in 3rd, Christopher back to the 4th spot, Mike Holdridge waiting in position number 5.
The sparks flew between Christopher and Savali, and that gave Agor the opening he needed.
13 laps remaining in this event. Will James Savali have enough? Will Ted Christopher be able to come back to the top 3 for a podium finish? They head down the back straightaway. It is still Lloyd Agor holding on to the lead. Christopher working over Sandberg, down to the bottom to the inside. Here comes Christopher.
There is still time for Christopher to make a recovery. John Sandberg, pretty fast race car. He's got the bottom protected. And now Christopher finds a little hole.
Not able to complete the mission that would give him position number 3. Agor still in command. Christopher still working over John Sandberg, turning in a brilliant run here this afternoon.
He has to hold off Christopher. There's a battle at the front of the field. Lloyd Agor, James Savali. Now Christopher has some momentum underneath.
Here comes Savali to the bottom of the racetrack. Going, gone. James Savali has come from the back to the front. Savali is your leader.
Penalized for rough riding on lap 5. Takes over the lead on lap 30.
He started in position number 5, James Savali. 30 laps into this event, runs you as your leader at the point. Lloyd Agor setting in 2nd. 3rd is Ted Christopher. 4th is Mike Holdridge, and 5th is John Sandberg. 6th is Woody Pitcat. 7th spot is Kenny Horton. And 8th position currently is held down by Chris Isella. Rounding out the top 10, it is car number 97 for Frank Rocco.
And Ted Christopher would like a yellow flag to narrow the distance between himself and James Savali. If that happens, we could have quite an ending to this race.
In 8 circuits, it's all going to be history. Savali at the point. Starting to pull away. Here's another good challenge going on. Holdridge in the neon yellow and black machine, battling with the black 27 of Sandberg.
Holdridge has really done his homework over the winter, and that's pretty obvious by the way he's running today. Looks like he has momentum right there, and he is just going to try to blur his way underneath John Sandberg.
Here comes Woody Pitcat.
Here's another guy who had his troubles early on, and he has battled back to the front.
Pitcat goes to the inside. Car number 81, Woody Pitcat, started this event in the 8th spot and now has moved in to position number 5. Sandberg in the 6th spot, and then Horton sets in 7th.
So the Sultan of Stafford Springs, Woody Pitcat's made a great run. James Savali, less than 5 laps away from what would be an impressive victory. Overall, would be his 4th SK Modified victory in a row.
Back to the stripe, Savali runs a picture-perfect line at the point. Lloyd Agor still setting in 2nd. Ted Christopher in the 3rd spot, but Christopher cannot gain in his quest for position number 2. As they head off turn number 4, back to the stripe, Savali still your leader at the line.
And the only yellow that Savali wants to see is on the safety suits of our track crew. He doesn't want to see it on the flag stand because you don't want a double file restart with Ted Christopher right behind you.
This time, the popsicle sticks are up. 2 laps to go. Savali is literally gone at the point. But for Lloyd Agor, he's got a mirror of Christopher. 2 black cars battle at the line.
Christopher looking for some room at the bottom. He finally has it. Let's see if he can make the most of it.
When they come to the stripe, white flag is out. There is no surrendering in the battle for second. Christopher moves into the catbird seat. 1 lap to go.
But this might be a coronation lap for James Savali. As long as nothing breaks on his car, it should be a joyride the rest of the way.
Caution flag comes out of the field.
Frank Rocco stranded in turn 4, bringing out the gold. And now we're going to have the double file restart that everybody wanted to see. James Savali on the inside, Ted Christopher on the outside.
It'll be a battle of the best right to the finish. 39 lap show on the scoreboard. And here at Jackaroot Stafford Motor Speedway, there is one policy that stands out among all of the policies. And that, of course, is
double file will make you smile.
Let's take a look at it again on the Diamond Vision screen.
Rocco climbed on the 6 car, Chris Osella, and that's where he wound up.
Yep, Rocco spun
John
to the
Deere
inside.
country.
It'll be a green-white checker situation, and the fans are going to like that too. They are really pumped up here at the half mile for this CarQuest special event for the SK Modifieds. And James Savali and Ted Christopher are going to be paired up in row number 1.
Rivalry between the 2 drivers in the final SK Modified event of 2004 at Thompson International Speedway. The 2 went at it. James Savali got the win by taking the lead on the final lap. Ted Christopher was very upset about it. In fact, the people on the Savali crew say Ted hasn't talked to him since. He was not happy over that. Now Savali started the 2005 season by taking the lead with 10 laps to go. Ted Christopher went from 1st to 4th, and now he's battled all of his way back to the hip pocket of James Savali on this restart.
Let's think about this one for a minute. The last race for an SK Type Modified that was run in the Northeast was won by James Savali. The first 2 SK Modified races that were raced this season for an SK Type Modified car were won by James Savali. He has 3 for 3 growing there. Will it be 4 for 4?
Well, he will have the inside position going for him. But when Ted Christopher's at the top of his game, he can run just as well on the outside as on the inside. In fact, I think he is the best restarter in SK Modified history at Stafford, the best I've ever seen on these restarts.
I agree with that. There's no question about it that Ted Christopher has mastered all of that, but let's see what's going to happen here. There is no question about it. Our race fans in attendance for this CarQuest TechNet special event, over 1,100 folks coming from CarQuest and TechNet for the VIP festivities that surround this prestigious event. They come to see a great race, and that's exactly what they're seeing here this afternoon. James Savali to the inside. Yellow and red race car. His dad is the crew chief on that machine. And Savali's not going to run the entire schedule, or that's what they told us at the start of this event. He's planning on running the Busch circuit on several occasions. Ted Christopher, leader in the Whelen Modified Tour Point Series, wants to win the big dance this afternoon, but Ted Christopher wants this one too. He doesn't race to finish second.
Mike Holdridge in the 28 in the second row, because if the sparks should fly between Savali and Christopher, those 2 guys, they might be able to make a bold move to the front.
This is the start of 2005. This is the start of SK Modified Racing here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. This is what it's all about. The fans are ready. Get ready off turn number 4. Savali down low. Christopher Holdridge right behind him. Down to the bottom of one. It's Christopher in command. Up the hill he goes.
Here comes Holdridge on the outside in the 28 car, giving Christopher all he can handle.
Savali right there on the back bumper of Christopher. 3 wide. They tap down to the bottom of turn 3.
Christopher just shrugs it off.
Here comes Holdridge. Savali way out wide. He loses a car lane. White flag is out. 1 lap to go.
Here comes Savali trying to make a move at the bottom. It looks like he has lost some nourishment on that car. It's a 2-man battle between Christopher and Holdridge.
It is TC, Ted Christopher at the point. Holdridge waiting in the wings. Off turn number 4. Here comes Lloyd Agor. Savali drops back to 4th. It's Christopher at the line.
Christopher just edging Mike Holdridge for the victory. James Savali, those 2 cars almost come together right after the race is over, but Ted Christopher, it looked like he was finished in this race with 10 laps to go as he faded all the way back to 4th. But you know, the yellow flag giveth, the yellow flag taketh away. This time it cost James Savali a victory, and it gave one to the defending 2004 champion.
There is no question about it. The fans were just standing and jumping up and down. TC Ted Christopher is the man who'll visit CarQuest Victory Lane for the first SK Modified event win of 2005. And what about the run by Mike Holdridge with car number 28 for a podium finish? The little guy still can get the job done. And Lloyd Agor, who was there all afternoon, hats off to him. And James Savali might not have won the race, but he won a lot of attention from a lot of screaming race fans here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Yeah, he was less than a lap away from the victory when a caution flag came out because of an incident in turn 4. That gave Ted Christopher a second chance, and he made the most of it. We said, Ben, he might be the best on the restarts at all time at Stafford, and he used that skill to his advantage as he came flying off of turn 4 to take the lead, and 2 laps later to take down the win.
Quiet. I don't get intimidated by anybody.
I didn't think so. Well, definitely a strong run. 2004 champion, starts 2005 off, but you still got a couple more races to go here, TC.
Yeah, I'm going to run the late model, which I'm sure some people won't like that, but I really got to thank Joe Ham for that. And I really want to thank my crew and Jim Galante and everybody. Jim couldn't be here today. His hockey team's in the playoffs, but good start for the season. We'll work on this thing and get it better for every Friday night.
Well, sounds good. Teddy Christopher starting off 2005 down here in CarQuest Victory Lane here in the SK Modified Feature event.
pretty much picking up where they finished off last year.
Yeah, and I'm run out of fingernails again. But I tell you, that was a wild ride. It never seemed like we were going to get past lap 5, but the latter laps of that race was really exciting. We're going to have an interesting season. Let's go back down to victory lane.
Well, thanks a lot, Tony. One of the drivers that, well, really had a great shot on that last lap was Mike Holdridge. And Mike, you were right in the thick of things, right coming down to the checkered flag.
No, I had a great view of it. I wish I started third on the restart. I probably would have made it out a little bit better, but he deserves the win. He held his groove, and I couldn't get by him. So congratulations to Ted, and we'll try again next week.
Well, take us through your race. You really had to work tonight, or this afternoon, really working this 28 car.
Well, I thought the track was pretty slick all day with the modified tour rubber, and then the speedy dry and avoiding wrecks. It's amazing it's sitting here in one piece, to be honest with you.
Well, definitely a great way for you to start 2005. Hopefully, many more great runs for you here.
Oh, I hope you're right. Thank you.
Mike Holdridge finishes in the runner-up position. Great way to start off Spring Sizzler weekend for Mike Holdridge. Guys?
Stafford Motor Speedway's banquet facility, a full-service banquet facility located on the grounds of SMS, is ready to serve your needs. Plan your next function at the Fairgrounds Banquet Facility. Visit the Speedway office for more information. The Fairgrounds Restaurant open for breakfast and lunch every Wednesday through Sunday, 7 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. For more information on the restaurant, the banquet facility, and the menu selections, visit the Fairgrounds section on the web at StaffordSpeedway.com. Tony?
Well, let's send it once more back down to Andy, who's with our third-place finisher. Andy?
I am with third-place finisher Lloyd Agor. And Lloyd, you were right there pretty much all race long. You actually had the lead at one point and ended up in a third-place finish.
Yeah, well, for one, I just can't say enough for my crew and the small group of people that are helping us out financially and physically this year. Johnny from Transmission Clinic and Lori, Billy from Performance Engines, Mike from Chassis Dynamics, Kevin Allen, and all the people that are digging personally to keep this deal alive till we find a sponsor. I mean, we broke a tie rod there on lap 6, and I thought our day was done. They hustled, got us back in the race, and we did the best we could with something that's all tore up on the right front.
I was just about to ask you, you were caught up in an earlier incident, and the crew really went to work, got aided with a couple yellows as we tried to get lap number 5 complete. Did you ever think you were going to come up and finish here on the podium?
I only come here to win, and to do what we did with this car today, as bad as it is, we're going to win a lot of races this year.
There we go. Agor starts off 2005 here on the podium, finishing third on CarQuest Spring Sizzler Sunday afternoon.